Hi, Jennifer Penrose here from Penrose Physical Therapy, and I wanted to just give a little bit of a demo of using our StimPod for a pinched nerve in your neck. And so I'm going to go ahead and just show you a little bit of what that looks like. So the ground pad ends up on your fingertips, and then you can use gel or you can use hand sanitizer to just put it for using the actual StimPod. So you end up just kind of putting a little bit of gel on a couple areas where the nerves are tracking. So I'll kind of talk you through this a little bit. It's one of those things that feels a little bit uncomfortable, more like a rubber band snapping. So I'm going to just kind of turn that up a little bit and just see what we get with this first. So you can already see my fingers are beating towards me when I'm doing that. I'm going to turn it up a little bit more because you'll get more. Now you can really see my fingers going. So right there, I'm on the median nerve. So if I had a pinched nerve in my neck, let's say at C5, C6, I'm going to capture some of those nerves. So as this is happening, when it's working on this nerve here, it's going up and down. I only feel it down towards my fingers, but in terms of what it's doing to the nerve to calm it down with inflammation, to stimulate cellular healing and nerve regeneration, that's happening throughout the nerve. It's going both ways, even though I'm really only feeling it into my hand. Now, as we do this, we do about 5 minutes on the median nerve, and then we can also do the ulnar and radial nerve. I'm going to turn it down just a little bit because those tend to be a little bit more sensitive. And you can see my thumb beating a little bit now that I'm on the radial nerve. If I turn it up, I'll get a stronger contraction. You do want a strong contraction, but not necessarily where you're gritting your teeth. And then the ulnar nerve is over here. You can kind of see how that is working as well. So we do 5 minutes at each nerve. That way we get all the nerve roots that come from the spine down. So I have a little model of the spine here that I wanted to show you. So I'm just going to take this off for the time being. But here's the spine. And all those nerves, this is the cervical spine, the purple, they come off and then they join together and created the radial nerve, the ulnar nerve, and the median nerve. And so that is why you want to stimulate all those nerves if you have a pinched nerve up there, a herniated disc. The other thing we do, if it's coming from your neck, is this ground pad. Let's say it's your right arm. This would be the right side. This is the left side. We would take this ground pad and also put it just on the muscles right next off to the spine on the left. And then we would take the probe and apply a bunch of gel on those muscles on this side. And we could just trace up and down for 5 to 10 minutes just to help relieve some of the pain and tension in that nerve. So we do use StimPod mostly for nerve conditions to help relieve those symptoms and help the nerve regenerate. But you could also, on a sore muscle, put a bunch of gel there and just rub this probe, just trace around, find where it's sore. You might get a little bit of muscle contraction, that's fine. Up in the neck, what I was just doing there, if anything, we'll see a little bit of the upper trap maybe contract. So a little bit of shoulder shrugging might happen. But people find that helps relieve pain up in the neck. And then at the same time, we're dealing with the nerves down to the fingers. So that is how we can help with a pinched nerve, or if you had a nerve stretch injury in the shoulder even, and once you stretch that nerve, there's a bit of an injury that happens, and then a few weeks later you start having tingling, numbness, potentially loss of grip strength. So that's something to remember. Anytime a nerve is injured, you actually don't have symptoms for several weeks. And that's just because of the process of how the nerve is injured. Those symptoms are not going to show up. So sometimes people are surprised when they wake up with tingling, numbness, and loss of, and it tends to get worse over the next couple of days when they didn't have anything happen in their mind recently that would explain the injury. And I'll explain a good example of this. When I was surfing, yes, it was on my bucket list. I won't ever do it again. But in Mexico, we all went surfing, and I got caught in the surf, fell off my board, and got tumbled around like a rag doll in a washing machine. Spit back up. I was fine. The next day, I was a little bit sore, took a little bit of ibuprofen. I was like, great, I recovered, I'm fine. 3 weeks later, all the numbness and tingling came. I lost my reflex, I lost my grip strength. I did make full recovery, of course, 6 months later, but it definitely, I couldn't lift overhead weights. I couldn't be as active with my upper body. So no push-ups, no weight training really. Running, because of the bouncing, that just would send me into a tailspin. So pretty much walking, and getting some massage and physical therapy, but it did recover. If I'd had this at that time, I firmly believe I would have probably been better in a couple of months versus 6 months for the process of those nerve symptoms to go away. Nerves heal slowly. So if we can do this to accelerate it and get you better, feeling better faster, that is the intent with the StimPod.